Hey you guys, someone asked me about card windows. That's a new thing in Filemaker 16. And so I will show you a little bit about how you can do this. In order to show you, I've made a tiny little example file. It has just two little tables. It's got a jobs and it's got staff. And in my staff, I've created a little bit of info. I've got a few staff members here. And then in my jobs, I'm going to make a job. Let's say plan birthday party. A description, make sure there is cake. Okay. Now, I'm gonna assign a staffer to this, but if I look at my staff drop down, I've got like a bunch of staffers: Cindy, Sandrine, Sandy, Sue, Susan. I got a bit of a problem. I could pick someone, but I don't know who that is anymore. I could go back into my staffer and then look for that person, but that's kind of annoying. I don't really want to do that. I want to use a card to solve my problem. How convenient. I was going to make a video about cards. Okay, let's see what we can do. So I would like to see a little more information about this staffer, but let's imagine that my layout is full of other stuff. I don't have room to put any more information. So I would just have enough room to maybe place a little button here that says show details. Okay, it's just that size. Cool, and I'll just make that button, let's say for instance a yellow button. Okay, now what I would like to do is I would like to show in a little card the info or the details of this selected person. Cool, so in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little script for that. I'm going to make a little script so it's a new script, and that is show staff card. Okay, cool. So it's a very simple new window step because that's where the card is hidden. And then I'm going to go in the settings and I'm going to say, well, the window style could be a document. So that's just a plain new window. But I've got some other options here as well. And I'm going to go for the card option, which is a window that is modal. Modal means that you have to deal with that window before you can do anything else. It's modal to its parent window. Its size is based on the parent window by default. That's an interesting thing to find out. Okay, the window name, I don't really care. As the layout, let's see, I'm going to choose my layout of staff. The layout of staff. Okay, and then as you can see in the gray here, it automatically gets some information as the size from my layout. So that's what they mean by its size is based on the parent window by default. And then I've got these options here. Now I can include a close button, which is probably pretty handy because if I don't have that close button, then I cannot close my modal window unless I make my own close button, but I haven't gotten that yet, so I'll just leave this on and I'm gonna dim the parent window because that's really fancy and I like it fancy. So let's hit OK, and I think that that's probably enough. So let's hit Command S to save this script. And let's close my script workspace. So now let's go to my details button. Let's say that I want to perform a script and the script is show staff card. Okay, let's try this out. Let's click the button. Oh, there's one thing I really would like to have in my button, and that is okay, that is I have to go to my button settings. I have to change the cursor to a hand because otherwise I think it's not really a real button. There you go. Now I know I can click this. Okay. It happened, but I think it looks a little weird. It's too big. My card is huge, and there's not really there's no point in this like being a card because it's as big as my original layout. I don't really like this. So I'm gonna close it up top and I'm gonna make a little change. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to File, Manage Layout, because the thing is I don't really want to mess up my original staff layout, but I'm gonna make a new layout for my card. So I'm gonna do I'm gonna make a new folder here. I'm gonna call this cards. I'm gonna take my staff layout and duplicate it, and I'm gonna drag this down. In cards, and I'm gonna call this one card staff. Right, sweet. Okay, cool. So let's try that one. Then I can go to my card staff and I can just edit this a little bit. So let's go into edit layout. Let's see, this is way off to the side. I'm gonna put this closer by. And this I don't need in that card, so I'm going to close that one. I don't really need that footer, so I'm going to delete that footer, and I'm going to bring this this body part way up, and I'm going to bring this side in. Yeah, like this. Oh, that looks a lot better. Okay, let's try that one. Let's exit this layout. Let's go back to my layout for my jobs. I don't know if it's going to update automatically. Oh no, of course not, because in my script I'm still using that other. I'm using the layout of lay staff, so I do have to edit that first. I'm going to choose another layout, and I'm going to use my card staff layout. So let's hit OK, and immediately the sizes here have changed. So let's test this out. Let's save this script. Let's click this button. All right. Bingo, this is so awesome. So now it looks kind of cool. I can get all of the information here that I want. I could even add like an email button, etc. On this little layout, so that I can very easily kind of get all that extra information without really losing any space on my layout. I can put a bunch of stuff on here that I want, and all this detail is there just within a click. I'm also not leaving this this layout, so whichever record I'm on or found set I'm on, that all just kind of stays. And then if you think that this button is a little too small, you know what, you can just make your own button. So let's go back to our card. Let's make a huge button up the top here that says close window, or just close. Let's keep it simple. And then we could make that like a picture button that has like a little cross on it. Oops. Make that nice and huge, and then, well, maybe it's a bit over the top, and then maybe we'll just make that like a red button or so. And then we need to provide a action, and that's going to be a simple single step that says close window. Yep, okay, close window. Cool. The current window, yep, because that's the window I'm in. So let's hit OK. Let's exit the layout. Let's not click on that now, because then the window will close. Let's go to my layout for the jobs. Let's show the details. And as you can see, there's a button here. I forgot to put on my little hand, but it'll work anyway. So I have to go back and fix that on my card. Oops, I clicked it, so I've closed my window. Oh no. So I have to do this one again. Go on my card staff, and first go into layout mode, of course. Then I need to go into, oops, no, I was actually already here. There, this one needs to be checked. Okay, great. Now be careful on this layout. So show details, and I've got my big close button, and if I have that big close button anyway, then what I want is I can go into the settings here and uncheck that one. But you got to make sure that if you uncheck that one, that your close button definitely works. Otherwise you will not be able to close your card. Okay, this is good, but what else can we do? Can we take this a step further? One thing I was struggling with right now is when I try to select a person here, I've got a Cindy, Sandrine, Sandy, Sue, Susan, and my head is spinning. I don't know who is who. I'm wondering, can't I get like a picture in this drop down? No, I can't. That's not an option. But I don't need a picture in my drop down. Hey, I can just make a card. Again, very handy that this is a video about cards. So, as we know now, a card starts from a layout. So let's go to File, Manage, Layouts. Let's take my staff card right here, and that's actually a good one to start from. Let's simply duplicate it, and let's say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a staff card staff picker. How about that? Card staff picker. Okay, good. Let's start and do this one thing at one step at a time. What do I want in my card staff picker? The close button is cool. The staff picker, maybe I'll need to write that down here. Then what do I want on my staff picker? Maybe I'll start with the image, and maybe I don't need all of this detailed information. Oops, let's go to the layout mode. I don't need this. I do maybe want this, and maybe I want for my picture to be up here, a bit smaller. A bit bigger. Okay, so maybe we want either both of these fields, or maybe we simply would like to have a, you know what, I'll just delete all of these and I'm just gonna do insert, oh no, I'm gonna just do a text, and I'm gonna do insert merge field, and I'm gonna say give me the full name of my staff. There you go. Then I can make this a bit larger. Yeah, how about that? Sweet. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this one more, no, I'm not gonna make this one blue. Let's do exit layout for a second. Yeah, okay, yeah, that'll do. I'm not crazy about this gray, but hey, this is not a design course. Let's make this a bit smaller. Okay, cool. Now I've got one person. The only problem is I've got all my people on on different pages, if you will. So let's make another change. Let's go here and hit this little pencil, which is the same as layout setup. Let's go to views, and let's say that I don't want this in form view. I do want this in list view, but not in table view, and my default view is therefore going to be list view. So let's hit OK, and let's try this again. And then all of a sudden I've got a list, which is kind of cool. Maybe I would like to move this button over a little bit. Like so, and then my staff picker maybe goes a bit that way, and then maybe this one can be a bit smaller. Alright, this is starting to look pretty cool. Okay, this is kind of something that I like. Let's not hit the close button. So let's go back to my layout of jobs, and instead of only having the show details, I could also have a new button. Let's just copy this one, why not? And then pick staff member. Oof, that just barely fits on that button there. Let's make this a different color so that it becomes a bit colorful. And then again, very simple. So show staff card. Okay, that's kind of good. Let's duplicate this one by going here and saying duplicate. Let's say that we're gonna do open staff picker. So it's going to be again a new window card. The layout is going to be from the card staff picker, and if we choose that, we can see that again automatically the size has been changed. I don't need my close button because I still have that close button on the layout, and I think this is looking kind of good. Let's just try this out and see what happens. So let's save this script. Let's make sure that this one runs the correct script. Okay, let's try it out. Let's see what gives. And I'm not entirely enthusiastic about this because look, it is kind of what I like, but this is kind of weird. I'm only seeing one at a time. So let's close this and let's go back to my script and let's see what happened was the automatic sizes that had been entered were kind of based on what the layout or what the body part of the layout looks like, and that is correct. But I would like to have more records at one time. So I need to have this body part multiplied by a few times. So I'm going to use 476 if it was it not, and then I'll just use, I don't know what, 500 or something for the height there. Okay, let's save this and let's try this again. Okay, this is kind of cool. I can scroll around. I don't really have to right now because all my people are on this layout, but if I want to, I can scroll around, and then I've got all my people, and now I can easily see the picture, and then I know, oh yes, that's who Susan is. Now, the only thing I can do here is I can close this again, which is kind of useless because my staff right now is Sue May. If I want to pick Cindy, I can't. Nothing is happening yet. So I do have to fix that in my card. But the big question is, what needs to happen? Well, what needs to happen is whomever I select here, whomever I click on here, needs to be selected in here. And of course, as soon as I click on someone, this card can close. So what needs to happen for that behind the screens means that whichever person I select, I need to know their ID. I need to close this window, and I need to enter their ID, as you can see here, in this staff IDFK field. So 3 steps that need to happen. So that sounds like a script to me. So let's make a script. Select in staff picker. So if you remember 3 steps, first I have to get the person's ID. So that's a set variable. The set variable script step is like the remember script step. You can remember a value, because actually that value that we're going to take is in the staff table. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to remember that from the staff table, then close that card, which is actually the staff table, and then we need to enter that in the jobs table. So I'm going to say staff ID. The value I will specify, which will be in my staff table, and it will be the ID, because that's the actual value that I need, and that's how it's going to be named. So I'm going to copy this for future reference. Then I'm going to close my window. The close window just basically means close the card. And then I'm going to do a set field. And I'm going to specify the target field, and that's going to be the staff IDFK field, because that's where my ID that I remembered here needs to go. So that's the field, and my calculated result, so that's the value, is going to be this value that I remembered here, and this can be referred to by using the name of this variable, which is $staff ID, and I copied it so that I could paste it in here without making any mistakes. So I'll just do a little commit record request just to be sure. So that I save the value in this field, and then I think I'm good to go. So let's save this script, and then I think this is a good one. Let's close this. Let's go back to our card staff picker. Let's take this picture. Let's do a button setup. Let's say perform script, and then select in staff picker. Let's make that a hand. Okay, that all looks good to me. Let's see what happens if we go to our jobs layout. We go and pick our staff members. So we've got all these staff members. Sue May is currently selected, but I would like to say Cindy Rose. So let's click her, and Cindy Rose shows up here. So I could select another one, Sandrine, and Sandrine shows up here, and let's show Sandrine's details. Oops, this is kind of not yet showing me the correct information, so this one has still got some work left to do. Let's go to my script workspace, and let's fix this one. So instead of using a new window, let's do a go to related record. And then we're going to go to a related record starting from, let's get from staff, and let's use as a layout the card of staff, and then do show a new window, and let's do a card there, and then card staff is good. Yep, all that is good. So let's hit OK, and then let's get rid of this one, and let's save this, and then let's see what happens now. Okay, Sandrine Hughes. Okay, we've got Sandrine Hughes. What if we select Cindy Rose? Then show Cindy Rose. So you do have to pay attention that if you're just going to open a new window, that you don't just show just a random unrelated record, but you can of course also use this to show records from unrelated tables. So with a card you can show records from related tables, from unrelated tables. You can use this as a picker. Maybe you can use this to show pictures or a larger size of a picture and stuff like that. So these are pretty cool, pretty handy. Just remember that if you use one, always keep kind of the close button on there. Now I've got 2. Just make sure that you have at least 1. I could go back in my script and turn this one off, this new this close button, but always make sure that these things are closable, because otherwise your user is going to get stuck. Alright, so this was a little fun exercise. I hope it taught you a little something, and I hope you had a little fun. Ciao. If you guys want to learn a ton more about FileMaker, you can head over to my Udemy page where I've got a bunch of entire FileMaker courses online. You can follow them, and basically we make entire FileMaker systems from scratch, and I'll take you on the entire process step by step. There is even one that is completely free, so you can just follow that free of charge, and that is a beginner tutorial where we make an entire contacts database. That's a really fun one that you can follow that can teach you the basics of FileMaker. So head over there by following the links in the description, and I'll see you guys there.